Good. Shalom Christ, Yahweh Shamar Lataba Yahweh priest and officer, and Isupk affiliates to WAP. I'm gonna be holding down the class until priest and officer in the car comes in and takes over. And then if I could, what I wanted to get into today was our relationship, with our oppressor, kinda, and what the Most High will have us do versus what the Christian church will have us do. Matter of fact, I know exactly where I want to start at. Salakia, 1 second. Start off in the book of Isaiah, chapter 56. Verses. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 56, verse 10. It says, his watchmen are blind. Who is this talking about? It's talking about the Most High's watchmen. You understand what I'm saying? Because in the Bible, right, the Most High always set up priests and prophets, at different times to look out for the people and tell the people what to do. You understand? And the purpose of telling us what to do was so that we wouldn't fall into the folly of the other nations or even into our own mess and running around being confused like everybody else. You understand what I'm saying? It says his watchmen are blind. They are all ignorant. Who are the watchmen of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans? The so-called leadership. You understand what I'm saying? And as far as we go, our leaders that we had, such as, Martin Luther King, our other civil rights leaders, they always end up leading us to go against the Most High. You understand what I'm saying? Which, it's like, they always get us to go against the Most High, which is a commandment in the Bible. You understand what I'm saying? And they always get us they always end up getting us to where we end up following after another nation or another God. You understand? With Moses, they got us going after the golden calf, and different things like that. With our modern day leaders, such as Malcolm X, so-called Farrakhan, our Christian church, they got us going after our oppressor, man. You understand what I'm saying? Our people will sit there and look at an Arab like he better than a black man because he a Muslim. You know what I'm saying? Our people sit there and look at a dang Christian, or our people that's Christian and look at them like they leaders and they showing us what the Most High wanted, but then they join us onto a people that hate us. You understand what I'm saying? And the Most High wouldn't want you to do that. That's why in the book of Isaiah it says that our leaders are dumb dogs. You understand what I'm saying? They're ignorant, and they say they're blind. You know what I'm saying? So let me go back to the scripture so I can be on point. It says his watchmen are blind. They are all ignorant. They are all dumb dogs. They cannot bark, sleeping, lying down, loving to slumber. What does that mean, man? You know what I'm saying? It's like if you got a dog, right? I know at my house we got a gigantic dog. You know what I'm saying? We got Connie Corso. You know what I'm saying? And even if you had a small dog, the dog gonna bark. You know what I'm saying? Somebody outside, more than likely your dog gonna know there's somebody around your house before you know. You know what I'm saying? They sit up, prop their ears up, start listening, letting you know what's going on. Even if an intruder do come in or they got a weapon, if your dog gonna bark first, it'll at least let you know or give you time to do what you gotta do to either flee or get whatever weapon you need in order to defend yourself, man. Let me tell you something. Our people have been disarmed by the Christian church against our oppressor, man. Our people have been disarmed by Martin Luther King and the civil rights leaders that were trying to get us to join on to our oppressor. And because of that, now our 13-year-old Hispanic brother in Chicago got to get shot dead by the police. You understand what I'm saying? Another brother got to get harassed. You know what I'm saying? I believe he was a child. I think he's 16, getting harassed by a grown adult trained killer. You understand what I'm saying? And the so-called devil. You know what I'm saying? And we moving into their neighborhoods, right? And before they didn't want us in their neighborhoods. And that shows you again why we shouldn't be joined on to them. You understand what I'm saying? And that's in the Bible. Let me show you something about being a person, you know what I'm saying, that follows the Most High. This is what you got to understand about Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, and verse 6. It says, "For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God." Holy don't mean what you think it means. It ain't a good feeling. It ain't when you wear your hat to church and, you know what I'm saying, you in there in the choir singing and playing the drums real good. Like, that's not what being holy is. You in there playing the tambourine or just talking about how much you feel about God. No, holy means to be separate. You understand what I'm saying? The word for holy in Hebrew is Qadash, which means to be separate. You understand what I'm saying? So if it says that we are holy people, meaning we should be separate, what does that tell you? That means we shouldn't be joined on to the other nations. You understand what I'm saying? We got so-called white people. We got the so-called Arabs. We got all these other nations. And the Bible tells us that we should do what? We should be separate. It says, "For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself." He chose us to be a special people to himself, man. He didn't choose everybody else in the world. He didn't choose our so-called oppressor, man. The image of white Jesus is a farce, man. That's a lie. You understand what I'm saying? That is a result of whitewashing and being a damn culture vulture, man, and a thief. You know why? Because if you go and you look up what Caucasian people were doing or what our oppressors were doing before they got a hold of the Bible, you'll see that they was into all types of paganism, man. You'll see that they were the Romans and the Greeks, which were like their first couple of major empires. And in those empires, they were the direct enemies of Jesus Christ and the Jews, man. You understand what I'm saying? They're the ones that sacked Jerusalem. So now they got this image of this devil that they run around parading like that, like that's the damn savior, and it's not. You understand? This Bible's talking to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. It says, "The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth." So it even says to be above all people, right? While our leaders will have you trying to go out and reach for equality and everybody the same and treat everybody the same. No, you're supposed to treat your brother better than you treat the people from the other nation. You understand what I'm saying? Is that something that's not biblical to say that? Am I wrong for saying that? Does anybody know? Am I wrong for saying that you're supposed to treat your brother better than you treat the other nations? I'm gonna get you a scripture to prove that real quick. Salakia, 1 second. Keep going home. All right, no sweat. Salakia, 1 second. So, strike. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 14, and verse 21. It says, "Ye shall not eat of anything that dieth of itself." What does that mean? If you find a dead deer or a dead sheep or something like that, you're not allowed to eat it. You know why? Because the Lord will have us be clean and not filthy people. We're not supposed to be eating damn roadkill. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's not something that he wanted his people to do if something died of itself. Plus, if it died by itself, like, you didn't kill it, but it's dead, it might have some type of disease for you to not eat. Another thing of being holy, being separate, we don't do things like that. We are very clean people. You understand what I'm saying? It says, "Thou shalt give it unto the stranger that is in thy gates." What does that mean? Give it to the stranger that's in thy gates. That means give it to another nation, somebody that's not an Israelite. You understand what I'm saying? An Israelite is your brother, man. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You understand what I'm saying? And you can find instances like this all over the Bible. Like, the Bible tells you to prefer one another. You understand what I'm saying? Not to worry about and concern yourself about these other nations, man. It says that he may eat it or thou mayest sell it unto an alien, for thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. So this is a direct precept for the other scripture that says it's holy. That being said, you pass it, correct? Oh, slightly. I mean, yeah, you can pass it over. Oh, pass over the precinct officer, the car. That's my All right, let's get on the hand. Another hand. Hold it down. All right. You know that, man. Today is the Hebrew law class. I'm an officer in the car. 500, officer 500. Stationed here in Philadelphia. All right. Hey. All right. So I'm filling in for Officer Marah, Officer 5000. All right. Teaches a powerful class in the Hebrew. And today, man, we're going to be getting into the story of David, and at the same time breaking down these nations in Hebrew. All right. Now, one thing for sure, Salaki, if you could, can you give me a cup? Oh, I forgot to give me a cup. I just need a cup. That's all.
You want ice?
No, I don't need no ice. The water, I appreciate it. So, one thing I want to get into is the story of David. And 1 Samuel chapter 17, starting off from there. You know, Captain Tazaria was blazing on this pastor, man, in this debate. I believe it was Wednesday. You can check it out on Cross the Line Radio. Wow, I appreciate it. You can check it out on Cross the Line Radio. You know, we have radio shows, you understand, from Commander Jenny Hanna, you know, down to the Cross the Line Radio. I mean, we had so much content that you can just tune in down there every day. You know what I mean? You can drown yourself out in these classes, radio shows. You know, the radio shows, man, is more, you know, we correlating everything from like, you know, not so much going into the scriptures, but we still add scripture to the relative topics. You know, like dealing with the white man, and you know, just basic light things that you should know correlated with the scriptures. We also show you that, you know, we just like you, man. You know, we like to joke around, play around. Well, not play around, but you know, we like to joke around. You know what I mean? Bust it up like brothers. You know, family thing. So, you know, barbershop talk, but it's righteous. And, you know, we definitely going to give you the tools and materials that you need. All right. So we're going to go into the book. If you could, can you, let's get into, let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 17. Let's go there. And we're going to be looking into David. All right, story of David. Let y'all understand, you know, just that the Lord, man, is a man of war. And the Lord requires you to have no fear. You understand? To know that the promise and the covenant is given to us. You understand? And this man, David, our king, once was our king, man. Where you see people try to say, man, oh yeah, you know, that's a star of Moloch. No, man, this is the shield. You know, we're gonna break it down in Hebrew. Matter of fact, if you could, let's give them David's name in Hebrew. Let's give it a name in Hebrew. Ancient, yeah. So I'm gonna turn the camera.
I'll fix it after already.
Oh, you did?
No, I'm saying I'll fix it after.
Oh no. We're gonna put the focus on you. You know what I mean? And as you see, just make sure that they can see it. But sure. You know, you're going now. You're going to check it out, man. Because this is his name in Hebrew. Let's give it. This is what he's writing right now. Is the ancient. All right. And if you look on my shirt, when we turn the camera back around, let's give it to him in the Assyrian Hebrew too. So we're gonna both do it, and then you're gonna put his name in Hebrew. All right, and then give him the shield of David too, the signet. Signet after that, what you do, and then write his name converted into English. You know, man,
this knowledge, man, that we bringing out every day is important, you know, and definitely knowing who you are. Definitely knowing who you are is important as well. That's majority, damn near half the battle. What you say, Oscar? Wow, that's half the battle? Or just knowing who you is half the battle? Yeah, I'll say half. All right. Just put Dawada and then put the shield on the side so that they be able to see it. These things is important, man. Dawada. Then he's gonna put the shield.
You put me on the spot right now. It's a lot.
Salahi.
I said you put me on the spot right now.
No, man, we got it. You got it. Shoot. Now, as you see, there's Dawada. You understand? He was once a king of Israel, man. A powerful king, did a lot for our nation. You understand? And Christ sits on the throne of David. All right? Christ is a descendant of King David, meaning that if he's from the lineage of David, means that that whole immaculate conception is a lie. All right? They lied to you, got you thinking, oh yeah, you can go ahead and believe that Mary then had sex to conceive Christ. But in Matthew, the first chapter, it started off with giving you the genealogy of Christ. Understand? So, man, it's just nonsense. You don't want to believe into what they going to have you out here believing. Best to listen to the men of the Lord and Isupk. All right, so let's go ahead and break this down. All right, on the story of King David. We're going to go into it and also put these nations on the board. All right, so let's get it, bro. 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 1.
Okay. The book of 1 Samuel chapter 17 and verse 1. Now the Philistines gathered together their armies to battle, and were gathered together at Shekar, which belonged to Judah, and pitched between Shekar and Azekah in Slakia. Ephah Damim.
Affects the mammon. Keep going.
And Saul and his men of Israel were gathered together and pitched by the valley of Elah, and set the battle in array against the Philistines. And the Philistines stood on a mountain on one side, and Israel stood on a mountain on the other side, and there was a valley between them.
Now, in this time period right here, we are going to war against the Africans. That would be the so-called Africans would be the Philistines in the Bible. All right, so you see King Saul had his armies, and the Africans had their armies, all right, on one side. All right, just picture a battlefield. One army is on the other mountain, other army is on the other. All right, let's keep going.
And there went out a champion of a camp of the Philistines, named Goliath.
Now, when they're saying champion, it just means a strong warrior, a man that can overtake many men. You know what I'm saying? It's like The Rock. He got that title. The people's champion. I don't know I forgot what they call it. World heavyweight champion. That was like the biggest belt. And wasn't that like the biggest belt?
Yeah, wrestling.
And wrestling, the world's champion or something like that. World heavyweight champion. The Rock had that. You know what I mean? Meaning that he's just the best warrior. All right. And a lot of people, they get it. Matter of fact, we're gonna keep going because they're gonna explain it.
Named Goliath of Gath, whose height was 6 cubits and a span.
So Goliath was a very tall individual. All right, they call him a giant. a giant. You gotta remember remember we had. I don't know if you was here. We broke down. All right, the slave trade. All the people that was being shipped on slave ships. All right, and it had proof on the names that they was Hebrew Israelites, and the height of them. You was seeing the average height of a man and a woman was like 6'4". So if the average height of an individual was like 6'4", it was normal for a woman to be 6'7". To see a giant in these times, meaning he had to have been like 8 feet. You know what I'm saying? 7 feet, just big as hell and brolic. All right, keep going.
And he had a helmet of brass upon his head, and he was armed with a coat of mail, and the weight of this coat was 5,000 shekels of brass.
So that's a lot. All right, keep going.
And he had greaves of brass upon his legs, and a target of brass between his shoulders. Verse 7. And the staff of his spear was like a weaver's beam. And his spear head weighed 600 shekels of iron, and one bearing a shield went before him. So, like,
go ahead.
If I could, I got this real quick.
Go ahead. All right. So where you left off at?
7.
All right, verse 7. All right. This continue where the brother had left off at. Verse 7, and the staff of his spear was like a weaver beam, and his spear head weighed 600 shekels of iron, and one bearing a shield went before him. And he stood and cried unto the armies of Israel, and said unto them, everything all right? Whatever.
They take it this.
Oh, all right. You coming back? All right. Somebody, I think that's probably officer you dying. All right. Boom, boom, boom. Verse 8. And it stood and cried unto the armies of Israel, and said unto them, why are ye come out to set your battle in array? Am I not a Philistine, and ye servants to Saul? Basically, man, this is Goliath just being very proud and just basically he crap talking. You understand what I'm saying? Like he's basically like, man, ain't I'm an African? And ain't y'all just servants to Saul? Like basically he's just trying to belittle us. All right. But we're gonna show you how Israel get down. All right, Shalom, what's going on? All right. Boom, boom, boom. You able to get back? Verse 9? Verse 9. We have verse 9. Matter of fact, no, we have verse 8. Go back to verse 8.
And he stood and cried unto the armies of Israel, and said unto them, why are ye come out to set your battle in array? Am not I a Philistine, and ye servants of Saul?
He was just basically, man, just being, you know what I mean, just being very prideful, talking trash, you know what I mean, to the men of Israel. All right, hey sis, we in the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 17 and verse 8. All right, so here you go, Goliath just being an evil individual. You understand? Just being an evil individual, man. You know what I mean? Basically, not understanding that he's barking up the wrong tree. You understand? We already know what's going to happen to Goliath. But this goes to show you, no matter how vicious your opponent may be, no matter how great the army may be, you have faith in the Lord, meaning what? What does having faith mean? I know I should walk now. I'm going to ask you, what does having faith mean? Let's see if you remember. We talked about this last class that you was in. Faith. What does it mean to have faith?
Showing it, like doing work.
Not really. You halfway on it. But what does it mean to have faith? When it says, let's think about it. When it says that you must have faith in the Lord, what do that mean? How can you have faith? All right, I'm gonna give you the I'm gonna get a precept. Can I get James 2 and 20? Who were you at with the first Samuel? We're gonna go to James 2 and 20. All right, because I'm gonna show you what David had before we even get deep into, deeper into the story. How much we can go over today. Go ahead.
The book of James, chapter 2, verse 20.
Mm-hmm.
But wilt thou know, O vain man, that faith without works is dead?
Listen, oh vain man, a man that is just evil. You understand? He said, faith without works is dead. Is any more on that?
A little bit. If we keep going.
Yeah, we just keep going.
Was not Abraham our father justified by works
Yeah.
when he had offered Isaac his son upon the altar?
Listen, you know what that means? Abraham was given an order to kill his son. Now, it was the test to see if he would do it. Meaning, in other words, you do what the Lord say to do. That's how you show that you have faith. When you have faith, you're not going to be afraid. If you know the Lord, let me tell you something. If you know the Lord, you're going to be afraid going into battle because you're like, the Lord might not be on my side. You know what I'm saying? But having faith, meaning that you are doing what the Lord said to do. The same way they just explained Abraham, all right? Abraham showed his faith when example of his faith when the Lord sent the angel to whisper in his ear, sacrifice your son. And Isaac was on the altar. He was about to they had to send an angel to come down and get him. They said, oh, no. Come on, man. You know what I mean? All right. You proved your point. That's having faith. David, being a just man, you understand? And he wasn't the biggest. He didn't look furious. We're going to get that later. All right? Keep going. Not drop where you at with second James 2. Let's go back to 1 Samuel. So if you want to get there, sis, all right. 1 Samuel chapter 17
Verse 8.
and verse 8.
Choose you a man for you, and let him come down to me. Verse 9. If he be able to fight with me and to kill me, then will we be your servants. But if I prevail against him and kill him, then shall ye be our servants and serve us. Verse 10.
Hold on now. Y'all see this, right? Now, this prideful African is saying, hey, hold on real quick. Hey, Salaria, you had took their phones? All right, no sweat. All right, cool. So I might have to watch how I do with the Hebrew. So we're going to have to be crafty. All right. So we're going to get in. I know what we can do. All right. So Pete, right? This African is basically telling us, all right. Now, this is what Christians don't understand. They don't understand how the nation of Israel is a people, right? The Lord is only talking to us. And this is clear as day showing you how the Lord is dealing with Israel in this story. You understand what I'm saying? Like, there is no way that you can sit up there and say, oh, God loves everybody when the Lord is always, anywhere in the scriptures, even in the New Testament, the Lord is always dealing with the nation of Israel. Christ did say, I come not but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. How can you ever in your right state of mind ever say, oh, the whole world can be saved? Didn't he just say that he only came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel? And then he told the white woman, hey, you know what I mean? Why would I give you the children's bread? This is for them. And she said, don't I deserve the crumbs? She acknowledged that she was a dog. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you don't give the dogs the first portion of the meal. Would you ever give a dog the first portion of the meal that you just slaved over? The dog is going to get the scraps. You know what I'm saying? Whatever David don't eat, give it to the dog. Whatever Banky don't eat, give it to the dog. Whatever we don't eat, give it to the dog. And 9 out of 10, they're getting bones. They're not getting it, they getting the crumbs, and she realized that. So people need to, this is one thing. When you out here dealing with these people that's are in the world that don't know the truth, let me tell you something. Let them know. What, didn't the Lord separate all nations? Didn't he put a distinct within the nations? Right? Why is it's talking about nations and then it talks about Israel? Why is they saying that these other nations are nothing in the book that the white man took out? We got to start understanding that this is a cultural book. This is a history book. We got so many books that we pulled and like, all right, you don't want to believe the Bible? Well, we have something for you to sit up there and look at that coincides with the Bible. You understand what I'm saying? So let's get into it. Let's get into this fight that's about to happen, man. So now, hold on, before you start reading, right? Now we just read what? That he said, y'all beat me, we'll be your servants. We'll serve unto you like they supposed to. These other nations are supposed to be under us. That's in Deuteronomy chapter, what is that? I think that's Deuteronomy chapter 28 and 1 and Deuteronomy 7 and 6. When we're supposed to be over the whole world. Christians don't even look into the book of Leviticus and the book of Numbers. Come on, man. How many? You can go all day. You want to teach some laws? Go into the book of Leviticus and Numbers and Exodus. And look at how much in the book of Deuteronomy, where it clearly tells you in Leviticus 20 and 26 that the Lord cut us off from every other nation and chose us to be a special people. You understand what I'm saying? So if the Lord got it down like that, then what is the conversation about? You understand what I'm saying? Like it's so foolish for these Christians to try to come at us and try to fix their lips and say we wrong. Well, we reading out the Bible, and we're going to show you how the Lord is on Israel's side and not on their side, so say. All right, let's go.
So,
Go ahead.
if I could,
The man with the precepts. Let's get it.
if I could, right? That's heavy because it's like, even with them saying that that everybody can be saved, and in the book it's for everybody and all that. You know what I'm saying? And then like you go and you really read the Bible, it's like Christ's enemies they was his people who were following after another group of people, and then there was a whole other group of people. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, this the Old Testament. We had this another enemy. The Philistines are enemy. You know what I'm saying? The Egyptians were enemies of Israelites. So it's like when you read the Bible from Genesis to Revelation, and it's talking about the Lord's chosen people having enemies. You know what I'm saying? Even with Noah. Noah, you know what I'm saying? When he came on the scene, the other people didn't listen to him, and what the Most High do? He saved everybody? He didn't. He killed the people that was with him.
He killed the people. And that's what people not understanding. Like when the Lord judges, people say, oh man died. Yeah. And you ask, was he serving the Lord? No. He was selling crack. But dang, man, he's going to die because he's being evil.
Right.
And I had somebody let me tell you something. I don't like to go all over the place. And I could go back into the Instagram post, right? But I'm gonna just explain it to y'all, right? I got you. Hold on 1 second. So, you got something to say?
I have a precept for what I said.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead to your precept.
The book of First Maccabees, chapter 3, verse 48.
Mm-hmm.
And laid open the book of the law,
Mm-hmm.
wherein the heathen had sought to paint their likeness of their images.
Mm-hmm.
If I could, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody being included is not consistent with what the Bible says, but you do have to tell people that because it excludes them. That's why they got to say, oh, the Bible for everybody. Because if it's not for everybody, you do a little bit of research, you're going to see it's not for them.
Yeah, it's definitely not, man. Like, even in the book of Deuteronomy, I believe I forgot what, I got to find it. Where in the kingdom of heaven, there's only going to be on the gates in the kingdom of heaven that's on the face of the earth is going to only have the 12 tribes of Israel on it. On each gate, there's going to be the 12 tribes. You're going to see Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Simeon, you know what I mean, so on and so on, all the way down to Issachar and Ephraim and Zalabah. Shoot, I always get their name wrong. Zabalawan, I know it in Hebrew. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so much that we can go into that just show you that the Lord is dealing with Israel. And we're going to get back into it. All right. I'm going to show you how the Lord was with us. You understand? In these times of David. You got me?
All
right.
But if I prevail against him and kill him, then shall ye be our servants and serve us.
Mm-hmm.
And the Philistine said, I defy the armies of Israel this day.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a man that we may fight together.
All right, so pretty much, man, in Judah terms, we're going to square up to the death. You understand? We're going to square up to the death. Hey, David, sit back in the chair, all right? We're going to square up, and we're going to get it in, and the best man win. That's how we're going to get down, and that ain't nothing new. You understand what I'm saying? This ain't nothing new, and the Lord was with this. A Christian would have you thinking, oh, them Isupk, man, they so angry, and you know they ready to fight you. They look so angry. They are military. That's not of God. That's a lie, man. You understand what I'm saying? Straight up and down, the Lord was down with Israel, all right, going toe-to-toe with Goliath. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm going to get back into it where he was at. Okay, verse 10. And the Philistine said, I defy the armies of Israel this day. Give me a man that we may fight together. Verse 11. When Saul and all Israel heard those words of the Philistine, they were dismayed and greatly afraid. It is a sin to be afraid of another people. You understand? The Lord don't like that. The Lord said, fear me only. You understand what I'm saying? We was afraid of Goliath. We was afraid of these Philistine armies. You understand what I'm saying? Hey, what's going on, brother? You ready for next week?
Yes, sir.
I mean, give y'all another announcement, man. If you ain't know, better know. Houston, Texas, man. We're going to have a pass over there. All right. I believe it's 14149 Player Street. All right. Houston, Texas, man. We're going to be down there having the usual fun that we always have for the Passover each year. You understand? Usually we do it in New York City. All right. But we ain't going to be able to do it because of COVID-19 restrictions. But man, come down there. The whole weekend is going to, if anybody know about the Isupk weekend, I'm going to tell you straight up, it is something that you don't want to miss. All right. You don't want to miss the Isupk weekend. Like the whole weekend is going to be nothing but fun. From the moment you wake up it's gonna be brothers and sisters that ain't even go to sleep and they still partying. Like that's how we do it. And in the scriptures, man, the Lord said in the kingdom of heaven, man, we're gonna party down there every day. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how we're gonna do it. Like we just gonna be just enjoy it. Go ahead.
I have a question about this trip.
Go ahead.
Now I've paid almost $1,000 for this trip, and I know it's supposed to be another $200.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I'm going to have to pay more money when I get down there.
Mm-hmm.
So my thing is the $200. What's that for?
That's the cover because all right, how much we spent on the venue is only right to pay that entry fee, $200, because of how much we put in just so everybody can get there. You know what I'm saying? So that's how we do it. It used to be you didn't have to pay, but because of how big the school is, we got to get a big venue. It's only right that we pay back Commander Junior Honda, and that's not even half of the bill that he got going on. All right, because last year we were supposed to go to New York City and be in a Coliseum. You know what I mean? Like when you see everybody seen it, everybody was like, "Look, we about to be." Like people was getting their garments ready right then and there. Like it was crazy. So this year, man, we're gonna be down in Houston, Texas. All right. So if you got a Bible, you need one.
Yeah.
You can get on this one. All right, we're in the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 17. 1 Samuel, chapter 17, and we can start back at verse 10. You got me, Ashtawa?
Yeah. First Samuel 17:10. And the Philistines said, I defy the armies of Israel this day. Give me a man that we may fight together. When Saul and all Israel heard those words of the Philistines, they were dismayed and greatly afraid.
They was afraid, man. That's not the spirit of the Lord. They was afraid. You can't be afraid. You know what I'm saying? We're going to show you exactly who wasn't afraid. Go ahead.
Now David was the son of that Ephrathite of Bethlehem, Judah. So like Bethlehem, Judah, whose name was Jesse. And he had 8 sons. And the man went among men for an old man in the days of Saul. And the 3 eldest sons.
If you could, you can sit in the chair for him. Above the shoulder. Just so they can hear you on the online. All right, so keep going.
And the 3 eldest sons of Jesse went and followed Saul to battle. And the names of his 3 sons that went to the battle were Eliab, the firstborn, and the next unto him Abinadab, and the third Shema. And David was the youngest, and the 3 eldest followed Saul.
So his older brothers, man, they were warriors. You understand what I'm saying? Because that is what the men of Israel are supposed to be. Supposed to be soldiers.
Right.
You're supposed to raise up soldiers. So David understood, my brother's soldiers, I got to be a soldier too. He was the youngest. That's why it's so important. If you're a man, Israelite man, you need to get up in this school and boot up. Right. It's time for you to stop sitting back, getting high, and sex with whores. You understand? Doing whatever the hell you want to do. It's time for you to boot up because right now we have war. You just seen that a little. I believe, I don't think he was Hispanic. I think that the brother, he was a Judite, right? In Chicago, Illinois, got shot with his hands up. Now, I don't know if the cop was he was being a devil.
Right.
But in the area where he shot him at, he probably thought that, hey, nobody ain't gonna know. You know what I'm saying? What's really going down? Who knows what was going through that devil's head? bottom line is that young man got killed. And he just put his hands on him. He was fragile. He was what, like 15, 13? 13 years old. You want to kill him? You think that we not at war? We at war. So we at war. If you seeing all the things that these other nations is doing, understand that we at war, right? And if you're a man, you better boot up. You better start doing what the Lord said to do. The Lord said that the weapons of our warfare is not carnal, it's spiritual. You got to get right within yourself. You know what I'm saying? We got to get right within ourselves. And once we get right within ourselves, by the steps that the Lord told us to take, then we go help the other one, the other brother and the other sister, and we keep going. It's a chain reaction. That's what we're supposed to be doing. Not sitting back doing what we want to do. You know what I mean? You sisters, man, you supposed to come into this truth. And you're like, dang, I got to change my life. You change your life, and you let your light shine before other sisters. You know what I'm saying? You gotta let them know, like, yo, you can't move like that. You know what I'm saying? Because if you shine your light, you're gonna help that sister. And you also gonna show brothers what they need to get in their life. Dang, that sister right there, man. You know how brothers is in the world. They'll try to crack on the sisters. Sister be like, hey, I got a man. He see you covered up and all that. I had dudes tell me, yo, man, that sister over there. And I ain't saying that she in the truth, but they was like, yeah, that sister over there, yo, she a real deal individual. If you could, can you sit up here? I'm gonna have you read a little something. All right. So they'll be like, yeah, man, sister the real deal. We at 1 Samuel chapter 17 and verse 11. I'm gonna have you pick up from there, all right? All right. 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 7.
Come.
All right, just make sure you read loud for me.
1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
And the staff of his spear was like a weaver's beam.
Uh-huh.
And his spear's head weighed 600 shekels of iron.
No. 1 Samuel chapter 17 and verse 11.
Verse 11. Come, sir. Verse 17. Chapter 17, verse 11. When Saul and all Israel heard those words of the Philistine, they were dismayed and greatly afraid.
Uh-huh. Matter of fact, skip down because we already read that. Salakia. Verse 16. Let's go for verse 16. Skip down to verse 16. So we broke down that David had brothers. They was in the army as well. He was the youngest. All right. And I also told y'all so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American men to boot up. All right. So let's go to verse 16.
Verse 16. And the Philistine drew near morning and evening and presented himself 40 days.
All right. Now, Salakia, I didn't finish that statement. Every so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American man, you're an Israelite, and it is our duty to boot up. All right. That's what we always done. You understand? That's how we're supposed to do it. All right. Now you got some brothers that they not fit for going to war. Well, you still do what you have to do for this army of Christ. No excuses. You got to put a brick in some way, somehow. All right. You can't go to camp. You can't, that's not true. Whatever the situation may be, you can do something. One, paying your tithes is one. Another thing, you can be helping coming up with programs and something, putting your brain together to help move this movement that Christ, the Lord and Christ want us to do. You understand? All right, keep reading. Verse 17.
And Jesse said unto David his son, take now for thy brethren an ephah of the parched corn, and these 10 loaves, and run into the camp to thy brethren, and carry these 10 cheeses unto the captain of their 1,000,
Now
And look
listen,
how thy brethren fare.
listen now, as you see, right? There is rank in Israel, right? Here in ISUK, it's a captain of 13,000, captain of 10,000, officer of 5,000, officer of 500, officer of 50, down to a trooper. So, like, sir, you have something to say?
After 5,000, 1,000, then 500, then 50. But like backtracking on what you were saying, when it's so heavy, you know, I have to find the scripture. I just wanted to read one scripture. What you were saying, when it's so heavy, you know, even to be in this troop, you know what I mean? You don't necessarily have to be a trooper or an officer to put your brick in. If I can just read, you know, Romans 12:4, it says, "For as we have many members in one body, and all members have not the same office." Meaning everybody may not be good or suited for the same thing, but the important thing is to make sure you come into this body, to come into this truth, and put your brick in any type of way possible, especially like you bringing out what is so heavy, is paying your tithe. You don't necessarily have to come in and boot up and be a soldier. It's recommended, but even you just coming in here, getting your foot in the door and putting in your brick is equivalent to that. So it's a lot.
No,
That's all.
for real. That's heavy. You know what I'm saying? That is heavy. We need to come together. I don't care. Hey, you can't do the work that other brother is doing. I'm not gonna look down at you because I know that you're my brother because we serve the Lord. You understand what I'm saying? Like that's how we're supposed to do it. We're supposed to serve the Lord. If I know you ain't here learning under Commander General Yohana, you doing what you're supposed to do, man. You my brother, you my sister, man. You're my family. Other people out there, they're just associates because we are chasing the same goal. We had faith, the same faith that David had. You understand what I'm saying? Like straight up, imagine a big giant African, like, let's get it. It's a UFC fighter, you know, because he likes to fight. All right. He a Judite. He knows the dude name. I don't know his name.
Francis and Ghana.
That name, right? African bull, big as ever. And I was like, man, I'll fight, boy. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Because an average individual will be afraid. That's why you see all the killings going on today. You understand what I'm saying? Having faith, you ain't gonna see all them killings. One, you're gonna have brotherhood. Another thing, a lot of times these individuals out here killing each other because they're afraid to do it old school, to be in the terms of their world. They're afraid to throw hands. When in our times, you had to know how to throw down. You understand what I'm saying? Because they weak. And we're gonna show you how our former king was not weak. All right. And he sized up David. We're gonna peek that in a little bit. All right, his name is David right there. You know what I'm saying? You know, a little dollar right there. Shout out to him. All right, so let's keep going.
Verse 19. Now Saul and they and all the men of Israel were in the valley of Elah, fighting with the Philistines. Verse 20. And David rose up early in the morning and left the sheep with the keeper, and took and went as Jesse had commanded him. And he came to the trench as the host was going forth to the fight, and shouted for the battle. Verse 21. For Israel and the Philistines had put the battle in array, army against army. And David left his carriage in the hand of the keeper of the carriage, and ran into the army, and came and saluted his brethren.
Listen, man, the ISBK, we salute our brothers. Right. That is an honorable thing to do. And David loved his nation. You understand what I'm saying? David ran into the camp, and he saluted everybody. Hey, shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahweh. You know what I mean? That's our salute here. He's like, hey, shalom. Hey, what's going on? You know what I mean? That's honorable. And this is what we do in the ISBK. That sounds small to somebody out there, but to us, that means everything. All right, let's keep going.
Verse 23. And as he talked with them, behold, there came up the champion, the Philistine of Gath, Goliath by name, out of the armies of the Philistines, and spake according to the same words, and David heard them. And all the men of Israel, when they saw the man, fled from him, and were sore afraid.
Listen, they're afraid. They was afraid of this African, man. Here in the ISUPK, we don't care who you is.
Right.
Listen, I done for them big and small. You understand what I'm saying? You're going to have to take me out now. That's my motto. Listen, you're going to have to take me out. You understand what I'm saying? Because I'm going to try to take you out. So you better try to take me out. All things fall on that battlefield. But our brothers were so weak. They was afraid. They didn't have faith. And it's showing. You understand what I'm saying? Christ, let me tell you something. Christ had perfect faith. You want to know how? Because he was going against people with power. Do you understand what those Pharisees and Sadducees, those Republicans, and the Greeks, how they got, the Romans got down? They was nothing to play with, and Christ used to call them all types of hypocrites. Christ used to curse them out.
Right.
A lot of people think that Christ was just talking, God so loved the world. You know, no, Christ was like, you hypocrites. Y'all better read that in Matthew. I forgot what chapter it is, but it's towards his before he left. You know what I mean? Before his sacrifice, Christ was going at those Pharisees and Sadducees, like, you hypocrites. He just kept calling them out on everything. People better understand, man, that Christ wasn't no softie.
Right.
He wasn't a coward. He had perfect faith. He ain't had no fear in his heart. And these people had power. You know what I'm saying? They had power. And Christ was like, I don't care about all that. That's the same faith, and that's the same way we gotta move. We can't be afraid. You understand, of what they can do. What Christ said, he said, fear not the man that can kill the body, but fear the man that can kill the body and the soul.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? Paraphrase. Like straight up and down, you gotta not have no fear, man. Just you go right through it, like forget it. You know what I'm saying? And we can't be like how we was right here, man. This is sad looking at it. You know what I'm saying? But let's keep going.
Verse 25. And the men of Israel said, have you seen this man that has come up? Surely to defy Israel is he come up. And it shall be that the man who killeth him, the king will enrich him with great riches, and will give him his daughter, and make his father's house free in Israel.
Listen, it was so sad that the king was like, listen, whoever can kill this Hamite, I would let you be the king, and you can have my daughter, and I'll make sure you're rich. You know what I'm saying? I got you. Kill this African. This dude is no joke. Let's keep reading.
Verse 26. And David spake to the men that stood by him, saying, what shall be done to the man that killeth this Philistine, and taketh away the reproach from Israel? For who is this uncircumcised Philistine?
That's him cursing him out. Like, basically, like, there's no profanity in the Bible. There's no profanity in Hebrew. But he's saying this uncircumcised, like, he basically just like, he like, man, Hamite, this African, who, this uncircumcised even? Who is him? Nobody got that spirit in nobody in the army. You want to know why? Somebody, I'm asking the class. How do we know that nobody had that spirit on them? Not you, sir. I ain't gonna. Come on. He gonna see. This is why I said what I said the other day, sir. You know what I'm saying? Somebody else in the class, not Ashtawat. Wanted somebody's sister, y'all two. Go ahead.
I mean, you can tell the spirit, they were probably afraid of his stature, and they weren't confident.
Read that part again.
And David spake to the men that stood by him, saying, what shall be done to the man that killeth this Philistine? and taketh away the reproach from Israel.
Mm-hmm.
For who is this uncircumcised Philistine?
Nobody else had that spirit. That's the spirit of the Lord.
Right.
He said, who the hell is this Hamite, this uncircumcised? Basically, in UPK terms, this dirty Hamite, this cow pee drinking, bathing in African. Who do you think he is? That's the spirit of Christ. Not sitting back like, ooh, that Hamite is mighty big. You see him with that sword? Oh my gosh. You think that we can beat him? I don't want no smoke. David with all the smoke, and he's showing you why. Let's keep going.
That he should defile the armies of the living God.
Mm-hmm.
And the people answered him after this manner, saying, so shall it be done to the man that killeth him. And 28. And Eliab, his eldest brother, heard when he spake unto the men. And Eliab's anger was kindled against David.
Look, he like, yo, what the hell wrong with you? What in the world is wrong with you? Like, he's afraid too. His brother's afraid. And they all been taught this Bible and learned not to have fear, all right, to have perfect faith. They didn't have perfect faith, man. They had a faith of a mustard seed. All of them. Because ain't nobody step up to fight this cat. You feel what I'm saying? Nobody even think like, let's just, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's just go ahead and get it in. I'm going to do this for our nation. Nobody was brave enough to do it. You understand? This is showing you how to be brave. Hold on real quick. I'm going to let him keep reading. Go ahead.
And he said, why camest thou down hither?
Mm-hmm.
And with whom hast thou left those few sheep in the wilderness?
Mm-hmm.
I know thy pride and thy naughtiness of thine heart.
Mm-hmm.
For thou art come down that thou mightest see the battle.
Mm-hmm.
And David said, What have I now done? Is there not a cause? And he turned from him toward another, and spake after the same manner. And the people answered him again after the former manner. And when the words were heard which David spake, they rehearsed them before Saul.
Mm-hmm.
And he sent for him.
So Saul heard this. He heard David telling the whole camp, man, get this Hamite. We need to kill this cat, man. Like, why are we letting this dude talk crazy in our name? We are the children of the Lord. We're Yasha Allah, man. We the princes of the power. That's something that everybody got to understand. That comes in part of knowing who you are.
Right.
You are the prince of the power, the princess of the power, man. So you can't move like everybody else move. You got to be willing to die.
Right.
You got to be willing to die for this truth. You got to be willing to die for your brothers and sisters. Like me, I'm the type of individual, I don't care about my life to save it. I came into the school and said, man, forget everything that I held close to my heart. I'm going to serve the Lord. And what went out the window? Saving my own life. I'm going to save another. I'm going to represent for the Lord. If I got to take something out for my people, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure I'm righteous about it. I ain't going to just go out and commit crimes against the Lord. We have to be willing to die. You understand what I'm saying? Let me give y'all a quick little history lesson. When we was on those plantations, when we went to war with America, from the blacks, the Negroes, the Haitians, from the Hispanics, down to the First Nation people, so-called Native Americans, we had to fight. You understand what I'm saying? Like, we had to fight. We had to. We got to keep that same spirit. We got to keep the same spirit. Nothing changed just because automobiles and the television and the cell phone, the clubs and the great job putting money in your pocket. Don't be blind to the real reality. The Lord said, this is not the place of our rest. That is a heavy scripture that always said there to me. You know what I'm saying? Our ancestors went to war, man. They had to go to war to get what was theirs, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to keep ad-libbing. Let's get back to where we was at. You got where we was at?
Yeah. Verse 32.
Mm-hmm.
And David said to Saul, let no man's heart fail because of him. Thy servant will go and fight with this Philistine.
Uh-huh.
And Saul said to David, thou art not able to go against this Philistine to fight with him, for thou art but a youth.
Listen, Saul was like, man, I don't want you to go fight this African. This African ain't no joke. He's the real deal. You a young boy. David was a young boy. That's Philly terms, if you don't know, meaning he was just young in his youth, right? David was a young boy, and Saul like, man, I don't want you to go out there and get yourself killed, right? And we got something on the line. Keep going.
For thou art but a youth, and he a man of war from his youth.
Mm-hmm.
And David said unto Saul, thy servant kept his father's sheep, and there came a lion and a bear, and took a lamb out of the flock.
Mm-hmm.
And I went out after him, and smote him, and delivered it out of his mouth. And when he arose against me, I caught him by his beard, and smote him, and slew him. Thy servant slew both the lion and the bear, and this uncircumcised Philistine shall be as one of them.
Listen, man, that is heavy. Y'all, everybody was like, oh, David is letting Saul know. Listen, man, just because I'm a young boy, that don't mean I can't get busy. I'm going to get busy. I made sure my flock was straight. That's how a king's supposed to be. And the Lord knew. You understand? The Lord was with David. We're going to find that out when he went against the Philistine, because the Lord was like, that's the one right there. He had no fear. Imagine the Lord seeing all Israel being afraid of this heathen. They doubting themselves. Don't act like we couldn't get down with this African. You know what I'm saying? But they doubted. They like, oh man. That doubt is a demon. That demon wants you to believe that the Lord is not going to be on your side, and you about to lose this fight and have all Israel be servants to these Africans. David was like, man, I serve the Lord. You know what I mean? This uncircumcised heathen. Read that part again, man. We're going to keep going.
Verse 36.
Uh-huh.
Thy servant slew both the lion and the bear, and this uncircumcised Philistine shall be as one of them, seeing he hath defied the armies of the living God.
Listen. David hardcore, man. You know what I mean? Now, man, make sure you keep your phone on silent, brother. The water. You know, man, David hardcore, man. And that's why, man, we had to be the same way. You know who was the same way? Christ. Christ went up in the temple and beat everybody out of it. Christ would G-check you. You know what I'm saying? Christ, you got to understand this. He is a Judite. Christ is a Judite. Go ahead.
He David's son.
He's David's son. He's his offspring. You know what I mean? Let's give him a hand. You know what I'm saying? That's real right. Like, he's David's offspring. Isn't better than him. You know what I'm saying? He done read stories about people try to say, oh, Christ didn't have to have nobody teach him. Are you serious? Christ had to be taught. Like everybody else got to be taught. You got to be taught these laws, man. I've just seen people say, oh, I don't have to be taught. The ones that is against camps, I call them individualites, right? They go, oh, no, I don't need man to teach me my Abba, Yahweh. I be like, Yahweh. Woo. Go ahead, sir.
What you bring up so heavy? I'm saying, bro, just right little cats that we talking about. Well, we don't supposed to follow camps, brother. What am I supposed to do? Leave the school and come sit in the basement with you and follow you niggas like this? Right.
Well, he said, shout out to him, man. Let's go in here. I'm supposed to be in the basement. I'm trying to go fight a war. You gonna drinking Menshevitz and just gossiping about, you know what I mean, other camps and, you know, being a Facebook warrior. Go ahead.
Good, you leave it up to them. Instead of building the Lord's army, we're gonna be in the woods dang hiding because they think we're supposed to be in the wilderness. And they're not.
Listen, what he said, let's give him a hand. You know what I'm saying? Let's give him a hand for saying, like they want you to not fight. And I started learning how to stop debating. If you are a young officer or a trooper in the school, older men over you is going to know, all right, I don't have time for that. Get that, understand that. Have an argument and a point where it just cuts their whole jabang, right? And this is what I do. Oh yeah, y'all can't. What are you doing? And they had nothing to say. They tap dance. What are you doing to raise up the people? Or I ask them, what tribe you from? I know Officer Yediah and so I really asked that plenty of times in my red. What tribe you from? I'm from the tribe of Judah. How you know that? Who is the so-called who's the Spanish tribe? That's Ephraim, man. How you know that? Don't you know that the ISUBK made that beautiful 12 tribe chart? That's from the 7 heads, man. They put that together. Do we have any faith in the Lord? Come on, man. Don't get into these silly arguments with these fake Israelites. That's what we like to call them. Israelites that don't really serve the Lord, don't really do what he said to do. You understand what I'm saying? We're supposed to be coming together. That's a Zephaniah 2:1. That's a heavy scripture. Come together, man. You feel what I'm saying? But let's not get off track. Let's get back into the scriptures.
All right. Verse 37. David said, moreover, the Lord that delivered me out of the paw of the lion and out of the paw of the bear, he will deliver me out of the hand of this Philistine.
That's faith. That's how you have faith. All right. And towards the end of the class, I'm gonna have you, because you just took the test. We're gonna have you put us some Hebrew on the board. You know what I mean? We're gonna get down, get a little busy. I know the brother's still back there doing his thing, so we're gonna be mindful of that. All right. That's why we're getting more into these scriptures. So David let him know, like, hey man, listen, the Lord was with me when I went against that lion, and the Lord is also going to be with me going against this stinking African. That's basically what he was saying. That's the spirit that we got to have. You understand what I'm saying? The Lord was with you, bringing you into this truth. The Lord is going to be with you through all your adversities. The things that you fight. You might have a temptation. You might have an affliction. You might have something that's going on in your life that you're going to war with. You got to know that the Lord is going to help you. You have to fear him. You got to fight. You got to do the things that the Lord said to do. That's how you have faith. You get that counsel. When you first come into the school, you're facing all of your demons. Your demons is like this. Yeah, homie. You know what I'm saying? They like this. Just imagine a demon is hunting your steps. You be like Passover. I had to tell my Reb, I said, yo, be aware of those Passover demons. Let me tell you something. Captain Amaya Yashar. My Reb, all right, let's rewind it. My Reb, no. My Reb told me something, right? And I got very furious. I was going to go address the situation. I'm on my way. I'm like, I got to figure out what the hell is going on. In my head, I'm still like, hey, let me not overreact. Let me try to do it the best way possible, right? My Reb, knowing these scriptures, contacted a man over me. And that man talked to me. He said, I see what you're going to do, but don't even do it. I followed that counsel. Guess what? I overcame that demon that could have been trying to work through me. You You know what I'm saying? Because my intentions was just to address it, but that demon could have tried to make that situation way more. And the man that I got the counsel from in ISBK told me, don't even worry about it. You feel what I'm saying? You got let's give it up, you know what I mean, to that officer in the school. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how you gotta do it, man. You gotta get that counsel. You come into the school, you're gonna face problems. It's not easy. You're fighting Satan. You come into these schools and you're fighting Satan. Just imagine you got the shotgun to his angels, those demons, and you like, y'all ain't gonna keep messing with me. Y'all gonna put some respect on my name. They had respect for Christ's disciples and Christ himself. Remember when the fake Israelites was out there trying to teach? Y'all remember the story? When the demon hopped on to the brothers that was out there trying to cast out demons in Christ's name? They said, Christ we know and Paul we know, but who is you, Negro? And they hopped on their behind and they went bonkers. Wasn't good for them. And it said that they had their own ministry set up. They had their own little camp. Can't do it like that, man. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get some you gotta make those demons, you gotta make Satan respect you. You gotta make it to the point where Satan like, I done threw everything at this individual. They is not giving in. My Lord, you got it. Let the angels encamp around this brother and sister. I'm all right. I'll try to come through some other time. That's how you gotta make it. Gotta have faith. Gotta keep these laws, statutes, commands. That's by how you showing that you have faith, that you believe in the Lord. You understand what I'm saying? So let's keep going. I want to get to the point where he killed his stinking African. You know what I'm saying? It's so righteous of him doing that. You understand? That was for us. When you reading this Bible and with the men's sacrifice, know that that is for us. And what you're doing coming into these classes, understand that the ones that come after us, you made the sacrifice for them. You understand what I'm saying? Commander Jenny Han and those generals before him and at them, we all make the sacrifice for the next brother and sister. That's having love for your brother and your sister, man. Right. Like when Christ said, let your light shine before man and woman, that is showing brotherhood. You know what I mean? People, I be at the slave, they started talking about white girls. I be like, man, I don't like white girls. Why you don't like white girls? Why the hell I want to deal with them? You see what they people did to us? I'm gonna go sleep with his descendants? You tripping. I'll take a sister any day. Right. I'll take a sister with problems and issues and I'll get her right. I'm not gonna go deal with some stinking white woman. African too. I say it all. I plant my seeds. And then they tune in the class and like, yo, man, that class you did was crazy. Yeah, man, you know, I feel you with that, man. Yo, it's crazy. I was just thinking about you the other day. You gotta let your light shine, man. You don't gotta try to push it on them. But when you see the opportunity, take it. You know what I'm saying? Well, it comes with some seasoning. You know what I mean? The men over me, man, they were showing me the game from the rip. You know what I'm saying? They were showing me the game. Like, man, Officer Ashtawat, we talk. He be like, man, this how I be doing it. Officer Yedaya, he be like, this how I line it up. Plant my seed, this how I do it. Right. Because we love our brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying? We got to keep that spirit, keep having faith. But let's keep reading.
And Saul said unto David, go, and the Lord be with thee. And Saul armed David with his armor, and he put on a helmet of brass upon his head. Also he armed him with a coat of mail. Mm-hmm. Verse 39. And David girded his sword upon his arm, and he essayed to go, for he had not proved it. And David said unto Saul, I cannot go with these, for I have not proved them. And David put them off him.
David said, I don't want this armor, man. This ain't for me. I don't need it. Like David, we had the spirit of David in the school, man. You understand what I'm saying? Straight warrior spirit. You know what I'm saying? Straight up warrior spirit. We gotta keep that. Like the whole time. Let me tell you something. Pastor Bennett, whatever it is, that homosexual name is, he's a homosexual. Like I just saw a brother say, I can't stand when he talks. You want to know why men in the IGBK can't stand when he talks? Because he's a homosexual. He's not teaching men to be warriors. He's teaching men to put on a suit and tie and shave your face, cower to a woman, have one wife. No, you can't have two, brother. You know he went against us on that, the first thing. He's like, listen, Captain Tazariot. I'm like, yo, dude, you's a homosexual. I would never want to go to your church and hear you talk. Even if I was in the world, I'm like, hey, I can. A chick, chick try to drag you to the church. You'd be like, man, I can't go there. That boy gay. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a flaming homosexual. You know what I'm saying? Like, straight up, man. Christianity is not going to build soldiers. These other camps is not building soldiers.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? We done seen camps partying. It's supposed to be the Passover. You got bottle girls? You couldn't just rent out the venue and then tell the sisters in the school, serve the men. Supposedly that's supposed to be the men of the Lord. Serve these men. You understand? Don't get a drop on their garment. Do it correctly. You know what I'm saying? Let's get this job done. Instead, they got bottle girls. Are you serious? I can only imagine. Can y'all imagine the general saying something like that? Like we done rented out a venue and then these damn the club think that is cool. Oh yeah, had the bottle girls and we ain't signed off on that. Those sisters is gonna get barked at. We might get kicked out the joint. Hey, get her out of here. I can hear General Muhammad saying that. Everybody can hear that, right? I can hear it. I hear it in my voice right now. I hear it in the back of my head right now. And I can see every man and woman in that school looking at those sisters like, you better get out of here now. Or if you want to be here, you better go put some clothes on. You better go to Ross, Marshall's, you know what I'm saying? Burlington Coat Factory, somewhere you better put on some real behind clothes. And then you can come serve us. You come give us some bottles and stuff like that. You can serve the priests. You can serve the princesses of the power, man. Straight up and down, man. Let's get back into it. You know what I'm saying? Let's get back into it. You know what I mean?
Verse 40.
Okay.
And he took a staff in his hand
Uh-huh.
and chose some 5 smooth stones out of the brook and put them in a shepherd's bag which he had, even in the script. And a sling was in his hand. And he drew near to the Philistine.
Listen, AKA a gun. He said, oh, he want to play? All right. I got something for this cat. Oh, you want to fight? I got something for you. David sized him up. Like myself and Officer Ashtawat, we joke about this all the time. He was like, man, I'll size a cat up, man. I'll be sizing the cat up just in case. You think I'm playing? Son, listen, that's my brother. I love him to death. I always tell him, man, you crazy. And he'll give you that laugh. Man, I'll be chilling. That man is crazy in the righteous way. You know what I'm saying? He will size you up the same way David sized up that African. He said, I got you. And we're going to show you how bad he sized him up. Keep going.
And the Philistine came on and drew near unto David. And the man that bare the shield went before him. And when the Philistine looked about and saw David, he disdained him.
Go ahead.
For he was but a youth and ruddy and a fair countenance.
Ruddy, meaning he was a handsome young man. A handsome young boy. You know what I mean? He can get all the women. Basically what they saying, you can get all the women. He was a pretty boy. You know what I'm saying? He was a pretty boy. And we're gonna see what they they say about him. Go ahead.
And the Philistine said unto David, Am I a dog?
Hold on, what did he say?
Am I a dog?
He said, I'm a dog? Keep going.
That thou comest to me with staves? And the Philistine cursed David by his gods.
Listen, man, you start talking trash to David. Again, being in that prideful spirit, not realizing what? That the Lord is with David. He was with David when he went against that lion for his flock. Let me give you another word to that. What was Christ's mission on the face of the earth? Somebody in the class. What was Christ's mission? Go ahead.
To basically be playing the lost sheep out there.
Exactly.
Breaking back the dog.
The lost sheep. You got to protect that flock. That's why a lot of people, the sister, right, on Instagram, I said, okay, I'm gonna pull it up. I'm gonna show y'all what I said. Show you what I said. Boom. Okay. And I noticed some people deleted me and all that. People got upset with me. I said, y'all been hoes all year long. Now y'all want to cover up for Ramadan. This ish is crazy. You can't make this BS up. Shout out to the Israelite sisters in the ISUPK that's righteous all year round, not just for a season. Hashtag empowerment. Shout out to the sisters, man. Shout out to the sisters in the ISUPK. Y'all hold it down. Listen, the sisters in the ISUPK made me want to go get the right wife. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, these sisters is off the chain. I said, I need to get me a wife. And just like that. You know what I'm saying? I said, man, like I always tell this story. I was a young man, right? I went to Detroit, Michigan, when they had their cookout back in 2018. And I went and I'm kicking it with all the brothers. The whole time the sisters was to themselves, cooking in the kitchen. They stayed to themselves. They wasn't all in your face and trying to be Joe Familiar. They stayed in the kitchen. They was chilling, doing their own thing. Yo, they cooked some of the best biscuits I ever had in my life. Yo, when you talking about the buttery biscuits, when you be like, you eating the crumbs. My rib know, because I be same thing, eating the crumbs like nothing is going in this trash can. Y'all be eating it. The bones, give it to the dog. I don't got a dog, but y'all get the point what I was saying earlier. But these sisters, man, is going hard all year long, man, not just for a season. So, man, I'm gonna give your sisters another hand. Let's give them a hand, man. You know what I'm saying? Because they holds it down. They holds it down from they don't got to boot up, but they hold it down, and that's something. Let me tell y'all something. That is very, very ancient. These sisters is holding down the priests of the Lord. You read the stories when he good. So when you look into history and when we had to go to war with our enemies, you will see the women feeding the men. They'll be clothing the men, healing wounds. They be making food for the men to go on out to war or travel. You understand? Like, sisters did it right, and they was modest, and they didn't be so monstrous how women is today. The woman in the ISUPK, man, holds it down the same way. That's why, man, we gotta protect these sisters, man, and big them up when it's time to big them up, because what they do, they got the whole world The same way a black, Hispanic, Native American man had temptation, they got temptation too. You don't think they don't got that urge to go down Miami? Like these so-called these Muslim chicks? Listen, the sister was getting mad at me. I just seen a bunch of Muslim chicks down Miami a week ago before Ramadan twerking all in the street. They on the ground. You know that cars and trash the trash truck go through that street. You twerking on the ground. And dude just rolling past, walking past, got you on camera. I had people at my job that went to Miami and record. Chicks was wilding out. You understand what I'm saying? So let me tell you something, man. Y'all sisters keep doing what y'all doing. You know what I mean? Keep doing what y'all doing, man. But we're gonna go back into the scripture, all right? Because we're coming up on time. All right.
Verse 44. And the Philistine said to David, come to me, and I will give thy flesh unto the fowls of the air, and to the beasts of the field.
So basically, he just like, come on, man. I'm about to kill your behind, David. Show you how you get down.
Verse 45. Then said David to the Philistine, thou comest to me with a sword, and with a spear, and with a shield, but I come to thee in the name of the Lord of hosts.
Let me tell you something. This story right here showing you how to have faith in the Lord, man. Know that the Lord said this in the book of Psalms. He said, I would turn, I believe it's in Psalms or Deuteronomy, one of those. He said, you serve me, your enemies, this is in the book of Deuteronomy, your enemies will be my enemies. If we serve him, he said, your enemy's going to be mine. David knew that. It's like every other prophet in the Bible, they always read what was behind them. They knew these laws, statutes, and commands. They understood the covenant. That was something that we held dear. You understand what I'm saying? And it's showing you right here. You understand? Keep going.
The God of the armies of Israel, whom thou hast defied.
Mm-hmm.
This day will the Lord deliver thee into my hand.
So he talking, mind you, this is David, a young bull, talking to this gigantic African, telling him, man, listen, the Lord is going to deliver you into my hands. You understand what I'm saying? Straight up, let's keep going.
And I will smite thee, and take thine head from thee, and I will give the carcasses of the host of the Philistines this day unto the fowls of the air, and to the wild beasts of the earth, that all the earth may know that there is a God in Israel. And all this assembly shall know that the Lord saveth not with the sword and spear, for the battle is the Lord's, and he will give you into our hands.
And he knew that from the book of Deuteronomy. See, Christians don't want to admit that the Lord is only dealing with Israel, and the Lord is a man of war. This Bible has nothing but wars and death and punishment and destruction. This Bible, let me tell you something, you really read it, it would have you sitting there thinking like, do I really want to go against the Lord? Like, it be times I read, I'll be like, ooh, the Lord told it. Like, when I started really reading it, and I started learning how the Lord was telling us to go into a land, kill everything, leave nothing. And when somebody would try to we got in trouble because we would try to keep things from when we went to war. The Lord didn't like that. He was very furious, and he let it be known. We got to listen to the Lord, man. That's why here in ISBK, we take orders very, very serious. And that's why, a lot of people, they can't join because they're weak. They can't take another man telling them what to do under the Lord authority. Let's keep going.
And it came to pass, when the Philistine arose and came and drew nigh to meet David, that David hasted and ran toward the army to meet the Philistine. And David put his hand in his bag and took thence a stone and slang it and smote the Philistine in his forehead.
Listen, like I said, like my brother offsides to what? He'll size you up. David did that. David sized up this Philistine. He said, man, I'm going to give y'all a little lesson, right? David, okay, somebody tell me, how did David know to smite him in the head? I'm now stay in the class, but it's going to take some knowledge to know this, right? Outside the Bible. Why did David know to hit him in the head? Anybody? I'm gonna give it to you. Go ahead.
If I could, like if you got like a projectile like that, you're gonna wanna hit somebody somewhere where it's gonna drop them. And I don't think it said he had a helmet on here.
Yeah, definitely. I don't even see that in here. Matter of fact, no, I think that he did have a helmet. Yeah, he did have a helmet. They explained it in the verses before. But he kept cattle, right? One thing when you're killing an animal, is different ways of killing an animal. You can give them a buckshot in the head, and it would tip a cow over. Like a 22 bullet in the head will kill a cow. It can kill any animal. That force to the brain, pop! You're going down for the count. You know what I'm saying? He sized them up. You understand what I'm saying? And this is a lesson for everybody, right? When you walk in this road, you have to size up everything because you are at war. You more at war with yourself than anybody else because only you can get yourself into the kingdom of heaven. Only you can get you that eternal life that Christ is talking about. You understand what I'm saying? So you got to size up those demons. Man, I know what can tempt me. All right, you know what? Satan, and we have council departments that is going to prepare you for that war. Don't try to do it by yourself if you're unclear and you ain't been taught it. Get counsel. So like, yes, sir, you know, I got this addiction for whores. How can I fight that? Like, whores been coming at me left and right. How do I fight that? Boom, you get the counsel on it. Now when it hit, you sizing it up now. I know what to do. And you carry on that, what they told you to do. You understand? And boom. You understand? You overcame that the same way David overcame what? Somebody that was terrorizing our people to a point where they feared and then feared the Lord. All right, so let's keep going. Then I'm gonna have you put up the alphabet on the board. All right.
And smote the Philistine in his forehead.
In the forehead. In other words, gave him a wiggy. That's what we say here in Philly. He gave him a wiggy. You know what I'm saying? That's what he did. Keep going.
That the stone sunk into his forehead,
and
he fell upon his face to the earth.
Yeah, he was gone. All right, keep going.
So David prevailed over the Philistine with a sling and with a stone, and smote the Philistine and slew him. But there was no sword in the hand of David. Therefore, David ran and stood upon the Philistine and took his sword.
He took his sword. He took the African sword, and let's find out what he did. Now, Christians, I don't think that you're ready to hear the next part. I know you probably didn't read it. You know what I'm saying? But you about to see how the Lord gets down. You understand what I'm saying? We are men of war. All right? We serve the Lord, and we're going to show you what your former king did. You understand? For us. Keep going.
And stood upon the Philistine and took his sword and drew it out of the sheath thereof and slew him and cut off his head therewith.
He cut off his head, man. He cut the African head off, man. Let's give a hand to David, man. Cutting the African head off. You know what I'm saying? Cutting the African head off. That's how we get down in Israel, man. We get down and gritty. Shout out to my brother Isupk again, man. Isupk probably did the same thing. I'm trying to tell y'all, Isupk crazy. He cool, it's be them quiet ones you gotta watch out. My mama always told me that. He said, watch out for them quiet ones, man. They the ones that will do somebody real bad. You know what I'm saying? And he showed me some things. He's like, yeah, man, I think about doing this and that. I'm like, yeah, brother. My mom warned me about brothers like you. I'm glad we on the same team. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I mean? So let's keep reading. So he cut his head off.
And when the Philistines saw the champion was dead, they fled.
Yo, listen. They fled because why? Somebody tell me why.
The champion.
Make sure you raise your hand every time, all right? Go ahead.
Because the champion, his size of stature, he's defeated. So they,
All right, you're right. Let's go back into the conversation that David was having. He told him that the Lord will deliver you into my hand. These other nations know that we serve Yahweh. And they know when the Lord is on our side, that the Lord is going to deliver all our enemies into our hand. They knew that David was going to be the king. And they was like, yo, he killed. They didn't pick up their swords and start fighting. They left. Because now they know, shoot, man, we about to. He killed our greatest champion, like you said. Good night. Now, we gonna let's drop that. Let's put this alphabet up on the board. All right. Put the alphabet on the board. We're gonna do the ancient and the Syrian. All right, we're going to put the ancient and the Syrian. All right, we're going to end the class on that. And I'm going to put the camera to you. All right, you're going to put it in ancient and the Syrian. All right, and I'm going to have you recite the alphabet. All right, brother, what's your name again? I know it's Thomas. Say again. Say again. You're definitely right. So you're just gonna write it out. You're gonna write it out. All right. Because we have a brother doing his test, we're not gonna be able to recite the alphabet. But you make sure that you contact the school, contact somebody in the ISUK to get the digital. I think you can get it on Google. ISUK Hebrew alphabet. All right, and you'll get the ancient and the Syrian. You want to know these things, man. I got a scripture.
So, if I could, just for the class that want to get the alphabet, email Officer 5000, just like Officer Marah of 5000 of ISUPK Philly. His email is marahupk@gmail.com. Email Officer Marah, he'll make sure you get the alphabet and the prayers.
That's right. You heard what the Officer Yediah just said. Make sure you contact Officer Marah, all right, so that you can get this alphabet. These things are very important. All right, things are very important because this is our language. All right, and I have a scripture right here that's telling you, you understand, that Hebrew is our language. All right, this is Genesis chapter 11, verse 1. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. Understand this, man, that everything all right? Just hold it if you could. Just hold it for now. Just so that we can see it. I ain't gonna have you holding it for too long. Once we start doing the announcements, you can just put it up back on the podium. Back on the podium. Hey, you need to look at the alphabet chart is right to the left of you. All right. All right, yeah, man. You know, you does your handwriting definitely there. You know, future reference. Always make sure you give enough space for the letters, because you gotta remember people who's watching at home. They gotta be able to see. But this would do for right now. All right. And like I said, y'all, we can't recite it right now. That's why I didn't really want to go too much into the alphabet. All right, because a brother is taking his office a test. So and to read it again in the book of Genesis, chapter 11, and verse 1, it reads, "And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech." We all spoke Hebrew at one point in time. You read down the Tower of Babel, the Lord was angry, and he split the tongues of each nation, man, so that every other nation can have their own language. As for us, man, we remain to speak Hebrew, all right? And if you look into these Hebrew letters, definitely in the ancient, you will find a lot of influence characters for each letter in the English alphabet. All right, even with just the pronunciation of each letter in the Hebrew alphabet, you'll find the same things correlating in Arabic. I had the pleasure to learn Arabic in college. Worst subject I ever going to learn. I was in the world, didn't know no better. All right, but I did it. It's all right. Now I know some Hebrew. And as you see, man, you got the Hebrew alphabet right there. Do it. Obviously, your diet said to do. Make sure you contact Officer Marad, email. All right. And we'll get you that alphabet and those and the prayers as well. You know what I mean? So you can contact anybody in ISBK. They got you. You know what I mean? I had plenty of people hit me up. Hey man, I need such. I'll give it to them. You know what I mean? That is how we rock here in ISBK, because we serve the Lord. You understand? We here for our brothers and sisters. We do this 365, man. 365 days out the year. You understand? All right. So we got that. Y'all see the alphabet. Boom. All right. So we're gonna end this class. All right. This is the ISBK. Start out at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Under Commander Junior Yohana. We've been teaching the truth since 1969. All right. Teaching blacks, Hispanics, Native American Indians that they are the true children of Israel, and that this book is about us. All right. With that being said, I'm gonna pass the class over to Priest and Officer Ashtawat.